Hi, this is Michael Williams with the Knoxville Daily Sun, and today we are going to Sevierville. We're going to check out a historic area. Now, for those of you not familiar with Sevierville, when you first get off the exit, at exit 407, coming into the Gatlinburg area, you're going to first come into a little town called Kodak, and just beyond that is Sevierville, and adjacent to that is Pigeon Forge, and then a short 3 miles up the road is Gatlinburg. Now, Sevierville is like the gateway to Pigeon Forge and to Gatlinburg, which, of course, is the gateway to the Smoky Mountains. Now, Sevierville has a wonderful history. It was named after John Sevier, and they named the county after him. He was the very first governor of Tennessee. So today we're going to go visit several historic landmarks right there in the middle of town. For those of you who are interested in history, you'll probably enjoy this. And for those of you who love Dolly Parton, you'll definitely enjoy this because there's a site that you're going to want to take a picture of for sure. Anyway, today we're going to go see the Pines Theater, the Courthouse, Red's Diner, a statue honoring our veterans, Davis Hotel, which has a very storied history behind it. We're going to learn about a vigilante group that terrorized the area in the 1890s. And then we're going to visit a cemetery nearby that has veterans from the American Revolution and the War of 1812. So, if you enjoy this video, please hit like and subscribe and share it with your friends or your Facebook family. And if you're interested in doing some advertising for your business or whatever, just give Janine Payne a call at 865-693-5739. Janine has been helping people more than 16 years now to build their businesses through effective advertising. She knows her stuff. Anyway, remember to hit that like and subscribe, and let's go check out Sevierville. Just a block away from the courthouse on Emmert Road, which is spelled E-M-E-R-T, is the Forks of the River Cemetery Park. And in this park, it's very historical. There are just a handful of graves here. There was once a church here called the Forks of the River Church. And here you'll see graves that are more than 200 years old. This one dating back to 1808. Well, excuse me, they died in 1858. And this man was born in 1799. Some of these graves are so weathered that the epitaphs have been worn off. But here, this man fought in the War of 1812. He was a major in the East Tennessee militia. And here are two other War of 1812 veterans next to one another. Both of them from the Catlett family, Richard Catlett and Benjamin Catlett. I assume they must have been brothers. The church that stood here, the Forks of the River, the Forks of Little Pigeon Church, was the first Baptist church established in Sevier County. And here is a grave of a Revolutionary War soldier. And another member of the Clack family. And here are a handful of other graves. Their weather has worn off the epitaphs that once was emblazoned on the front of them. Here's a rather old grave here that it's unintelligible. You can't read it because everything is worn off, but the design of it is very reminiscent of the period that it was erected. And here in the center of the park is the flags that represented the area. Now, to the bottom here, you see one that's got an F on it. That represented the state of Franklin. At one time, in the late 1780s, well, 1784 exactly, this area belonged to North Carolina, and it was ceded to the Congress to pay off war debts. At the time, South Carolina was still regarded as a North Carolina was still regarded as a free and independent state, a colony, or an independent nation, and they ceded this to pay off their war debts, and it stood as a free state for 4 years and eventually ceded back to North Carolina, who eventually gave it to Tennessee, and then the state of Tennessee was eventually carved out of that. It would have comprised 12 counties from the modern-day map of Tennessee. 12 eastern counties would have comprised the state of Franklin. It consisted of roughly 6,400 square miles. Now, John Sevier was the only governor of Franklin, and he later became the first governor of Tennessee. And of course, the American flag and the flag of the POWs, MIAs, reminding them that they are not forgotten. And this is the grave of James Wellington McMahon, who gave 25 acres of land to start the town of Sevierville. This was where it all began. And this is in downtown Sevierville. This is the Pines Theater. It's been newly renovated. This was the very theater Dolly Parton made her first paid performance in the 1940s. As you can see by the mural on the side of the building, Dolly is the little girl out front. Behind her appears to be Archie Campbell, and next to him is Roy Acuff. I'm assuming the gentleman on the far right is Cass Walker, and I'm not sure who the woman in the back is. But it's no longer an entertainment venue. Now it serves as a bar, and there's a video arcade with retro games inside, and there's also duck pin bowling inside. This building used to be a hotel called the Davis Hotel. It was built in 1922. It was the first brick building in all of Sevier County, and it was the only building that featured hot and cold running water, very first one. It was later sold in 1935, where it was converted into a funeral home, and these days it's used as a law office. And here next to it is Pinchy's Lobster and Beer Company. They serve great seafood, great place to eat. It's right across from the Pines, as you can see. And this is the Sevier County Courthouse, a very historic building, built in 1895. They have festivals here, such as the Barbecue and Bluegrass Festival. They host it here on the back portico. And this is dedicated to the veterans of the United States of America. It's a monument honoring all branches of the military. As you can see, there's an eagle on top of a pedestal here. There's the Marine emblem, Department of the Navy. Magnificent. And the Army's emblem. This is Red's Diner. It's a replica of the diner that once stood here in Sevierville, one block down. And it's the decor inside is based on the 1940s. It's a soda shop, soda fountain, ice cream shop where you can get ice cream, milkshakes, and that sort of thing. And they do have sandwiches. And there's a replica of Red's Diner inside of Dollywood. This is awesome. I like this. Red's Diner.
Enjoy. Sure won't.
No, you're okay. So you can see they paid a lot of attention to 1940s decor, including this old jukebox. The jukebox is free. Of course, some of the music is not 1940s. The Temptations and the Eagles didn't come along till later. But it's just like the old 1940s, 1950s soda and ice cream shops from yesteryear, fountain shops. Red's Diner, a place you must check it out at least once. And right behind the courthouse is this statue of Dolly Parton, Sevier County's favorite daughter. The statue is carved by Jim Gray, who spent months meticulously crafting every detail. And people are welcome to come up, sit down, lean up against it, take photos. Dolly was born here in Sevier County in a little town called Pittman Center. Pittman Center is a very small area. Fewer than 500 people live in the town. And this interpretation board, which is located right next to the courthouse on the street corner, tells of a dark side of Sevier County's history, a 10-year period in the 1890s in which a vigilante group known as the White Caps, who were sort of like the Ku Klux Klan, terrorized local citizens. And they weren't, it wasn't a racial group. They attacked anybody that they felt was of ill repute. Typically, they attacked mostly women who were deemed lewd or adulterous. They would leave offending party a note signed the White Caps, suggesting that they leave town. If this didn't work, they would leave hickory switches to warn them, and if that didn't work, it escalated to whippings with a bullwhip. Eventually, a non-vigilante group called the Blue Bills formed, and they helped combat the White Caps. But it wasn't until this man, Deputy Tom Davis, became sheriff that he was able to eradicate them once and for all, proving that law and order would prevail in Sevier County. Now, in 1899, two locals, William Catlett and Catlett Tipton and Please Wynn, were convicted of the murders of William Whaley and Laura Whaley, his wife. They were murdered right in front of their infant child, and they were later sent to the gallows to pay for their crime.